Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rebels Compass again on this absolutely glorious Sunday morning. I'm here this morning at Vocal House Studio with Patrick Godin. He's here to talk about some of his life passions, a workshop that he has coming up in July, and for us to find out the journey that he has taken to get him where he is right now, talking about what we're going to talk about today. So good morning, Patrick.
Good morning. Thank you so much to have me here.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm very excited to learn about what you're doing, actually.
I am too, to
Yeah.
share that experience with you.
Yeah.
And basically, I can start to explain how that
Yes, please do.
life bring me in that direction.
Uh-huh.
I need to go back in 20 years ago, and I was allergic with gluten. I was celiac. People know that
Mhm.
disease by celiac. And a few years ago, after I saw a friend that she said, I know somebody can help you with energy. I said, what is that? It's a healer. What's the healer do? You know, I didn't know anything. I was totally blank. I went to see, it was a man,
Mhm.
and he said, yeah, I can help you, no problem. Like, he touched my hand. And the minute he touched my hand, I feel like I put my hand in the socket wall at 400 volts.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh my God, what he's doing? What is that?
That can
And
be scary too when that happens, when
it,
you've
w-
never been introduced to energy work.
it was a little bit not normal, you
Yeah.
see, but I was excited about that. And after that, he said, okay, you come back and see me again. We're going to work on that. And I drive home. It was an hour and a half from my house. And I started to burp like
Yeah.
for an hour. And I said, what he did? You know, he just touched my hand for like 4 or 5 minutes. And I remember the next morning, I feel so good when I wake up. I didn't have problem with my digestion problem. Everything was digest pretty good. And I said, wow, I'm going back.
Yeah.
And I asked a bunch of questions all the time. What you do? And he said, you know, I'm here to help my brother and sister. And I didn't really get it at that time. And I said, okay, okay. After a few time, uh, it was going better and better. And I asked him, what do you think about those things? He said, we let you know when you're ready, you know? And I said, you and who? He laughed.
Yes.
And he was busy. Like I said, keep going, you know?
Yeah.
And after that, he finally really healed me with that. I was okay to eat whatever. And I realized today that gluten is not the best thing to eat anyway.
Yes.
But I didn't know at that time. And after that, to do a quick story of my beginning, I moved to the Rocky Mountain in Calgary.
Mhm.
And for me, I was so curious what happened with him that I was keep looking what he did, magnetic field, healing, Reiki, and I've been to a few workshops to understand those things. And I was like, that's not what he did.
Mhm.
And I was keep going until I started to realize that something must be around us
Yes.
that I don't really see, but I can feel it. And I started to do some grounding stuff. Every morning before I went to work, I was biking maybe half an hour before. Stop at the park, remove my shoes, and just feel the ground.
Mhm.
And I was attracting to do that. And it took probably 3 weeks, a month. And suddenly I feel something's coming up.
Mhm.
I feel me totally. And I feel like myself very, very grounded. And I went to work and it started like that.
Okay.
And now I was so curious. I said, oh, something is there. And I was keeping going and going. And I decide after I have children, because I am a very hyper guy.
Mhm.
And I said, I need to find a way to come down.
Yeah. And ground yourself.
Yeah, like I choose to look for different meditation, retreat, and stuff like that. At the same time, I was starting to study geometry and stuff like that. But more, I was going in deep breathing and calm down and ground myself. Many things start to happen.
Mhm.
And I remember when my daughter was born, something happened. I never feel that before, not in my life. Like, and I read about that after. It's like when the child opens his eyes and you look through his eyes first time, something it's very direct.
Yes.
I feel like something in my heart just like shake me. And it was amazing.
Mhm.
After that, it just kind of went away after a few seconds. And I said, okay, that healer touched me. I have electric shock. I'm feeling better. Now
Yeah.
I see that little one look at me and I have that feeling of just it's like you know, many times you fall in love and you feel butterfly, and when you see the
Yes.
person, but it was more than that.
More than that.
It was totally more than that. And because I'm very curious with all those stuff, I keep going. I said, I need to find that feeling back. I was doing everything I can.
Yeah.
And one day again, with the breathing and grounding, I start to feel something different. And I have an idea to say, okay, I'm going, because I was living in the Rocky Mountain at that time. I said, I'm going mountain bike this weekend. I will go on the top of the Rocky and just do that. That was my attraction. I pedaled probably 45 minutes, an hour to get to the top.
Wow.
And I said, okay, we learned with Reiki using your hand with energy and play with that. Like my feeling at that moment was like to do that with the mountain. It's a huge Rocky Mountain.
Yeah.
And plus I pushed the energy like that. I started to feel she's pushing that energy to me. And I was keep doing. And until I feel myself just become electrical. It was no a Rocky Mountain and me. I was the Rocky Mountain, and the Rocky Mountain was me, and it was totally fascinating.
Yeah.
And I remember that little river on the top was kind of disappear, and the mountain disappeared as well. And after that, everything came back. But it was so, you know, when you have an experience, you cannot deny.
Yes, I've had a few of those in my lifetime that I just can't deny them.
Because many people will say, oh my God, you know, probably you're
imagined
tired and you push too much. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You know, I learned to not really lost my time with that and just keep going, because some people, that's another challenge. Some people are not there and will never be interesting in that direction.
Yeah.
And at first, when you have those experiences, you want to share that with them. And they look at you sometimes. They're not ready for that.
Yeah. They look at you with a deer in the headlights look. But
yes. And when I understand that, maybe it's not the best way to push that to them, because they might get scared because they don't understand.
Yeah.
Like I kind of go in different direction and meet some people who are more in an energy pattern, different workshop that people talk about that. It's very natural.
Yes.
And I remember been to the Calgary, they have a Buddhist center, to talk to them about that, because I was not sure at the beginning. I said, it's pretty cool, but I'm losing my mind at the same time, you see.
Yeah, I've had those am I losing my mind moments too in my past, and experiencing energy work and different things come up where I've had that, oh my God, I think I'm losing my mind. So I can relate to what you're saying.
And I remember that Buddhist, I talked to him, tell him about what happened, and every time he hugged me. And he smiled and he laughed. He laughed like he doesn't talk to me. He laughed. I was like, that's so funny. And like again, more and more, I was keeping doing that, and the planet attract my attention a lot. Plants and trees, and one day I remember I was at home, breathing, and I started to feel that kind of energy pattern start to move me, like right, left, and I feel my body was going to turn. And I let it go, and it was very intense. And after that, it stopped up probably after 5 minutes, and I sat down, and I feel a hand just touch me like that. But it's okay. Now again, I said, what is that? You know, you're like a little child. What is that? I can't see it, but it was there. And I found out that was many people call it Merkaba.
Yes.
You have the energy pattern around you, and it starts to spin, because the way I was breathing and the way I was grounding, everything was perfect setup. Again, I didn't know about that. I started to make research, and I found some book, and I found some information about it. It makes sense. And after that, your mind sometimes need to understand that.
Yes.
We need to do that. It's we are human. It's okay.
Absolutely.
And this is leading me all the way to those direction. And I started to teach a workshop of the Merkaba and the heart. It was a way to more about female than the male. Both way are different, but they're good, you see. And I start to, like, I bring different geometry here. You can see many times we call this Merkaba, but it's the star tetrahedron that is spinning like that. And it looked a little bit funny, but that form is around us, you see.
So you actually visualize yourself sat in the middle of this.
Yeah. And many times I talk to many people, they happen naturally for them.
Yes.
And
so once you're sat, so let's just talk about the Merkaba just for a second. So for anybody out there that's never heard of that, that is interested. So this shape is the shape of our Merkaba, our energy system that we then sit inside.
Yeah.
So explain what happens when you sit inside of that, if you can.
You basically came to this life with that shape,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not spinning around us. We just need to remember that it's there and start to spin.
Yeah. One
to the left and one to the right. Like many people said, one pointing the sun, the other one pointing the earth.
Yeah.
And it's a balance, because the tetrahedron, when you study geometry, is the underlayer of physical reality. We basically live in a geometry form,
yes,
a reality. Like when you do that, what happens is actually you reconnect yourself with your higher mind. You become more a complete person.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very interesting. This is something maybe we can talk later on, because they have so much information about that. But people can connect with that more and more naturally now.
Yes.
I think the earth and the energy is supporting those things.
And people are looking for answers now. You know, they look at the world outside and go, you know, this can't be all there is, you know, and start asking questions like you and I have done in the past that brings you to more answers. So you search more inside of yourself for answers.
Yeah.
And then that guides you to the next unanswerable questions for the moment, until you find more answers that guide you on to the next thing and the next thing, till we are where we're sat today.
Exactly. And it's never stopped.
It never stops. No, it's
for one moment you said, I got it. And 2 weeks later, something different.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the same thing, but different point of view.
Yes.
Because we are a billion of people,
mm-hmm.
but it's one spirit.
Yes.
It's hard to figure it out, but when you have those connection with the earth or spirit, you can feel it for a moment. It's a really one spirit out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's profound. And,
it is.
But I think we talked about that this morning. When you come here, you're born and you have that life, and it's not always easy to understand.
No.
And when you're sensitive to feel energy and kind of hear people talking, some people don't do that. Sometimes it's a big challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big challenge. Like that's basically where we start. And right now I keep working with geometry more and more. But my passion right now, and I have so much thing I can say, just like...
Please keep talking, Patrick. We want to hear what you have to say.
All those things lead me to another experience. And that was I will call a massive one I need before I make that step
mm-hmm.
that I'm doing right now. When I have that exchange with that Rocky Mountain, stuff like that, you remember that. You can't forget about that.
No, you can't.
And I was keeping doing it until that I see a sphere around me. Many people talk about this sphere, that we are around the sphere and that geometry spinning in. And I start to see it. It was like electricity and jelly and stuff like that. I see it long enough to realize that when science talk about geometry and holographic universe, it is true. Mm-hmm. It is true. And I have to go further than that until I realize that many times we talk about the spirits going in the bodies. It's true as well, but I realize that the physical body is more in the spirit than outside of it.
Okay.
Like when I realize I'm walking in myself.
Yes. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
And I was so curious again. And when you say you ask for something, you will receive if you pay attention. Like I have all the experience to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's that projection. How that thing works, it's fascinating.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you ask for a sign, the sign shows up. We don't always recognize the sign shows up because we have a perception we want it in a different way. And it may keep showing up until we finally get it, or we may stay closed-minded enough that we don't.
No, exactly. And you just keep going with that. And you flow with the energy. You flow, and you become a dance. Mm-hmm. You dance with that. And I understand many people, like you said, you can go to fear because it's too fast.
Yes.
Or you can decide to open up.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, I said, it is me telling me a big story.
Yeah.
Like now, if it's really me with that big story, how can I have the maximum positive into that?
Yes.
And I realized life is positive and negative. Nothing you can do about that. But the really, really key onto that is how you respond.
Exactly.
Because you can beat yourself.
Yes.
And the universe was going to say, you want to beat yourself? I will help you.
Yes.
But it's looked like we must understand that until you get to a point, wow, I have a choice.
Yes.
Yes, I can beat myself, but I don't have to.
Yeah.
And right now, it's looked like the energy is supporting everybody to say, you don't have to beat yourself anymore.
Yes.
Open up, open up.
Yeah. See your
And
potential. You're
yes,
limitless. Be limitless.
exactly. Like, I do believe that whatever workshop I'm doing right now, it's to bring those information to people, to realize that they have a choice. And until you don't know, you don't know.
That's correct.
And how many times people said, I'm ready to let go. I'm let it go. But you need to know what to let go
Yes.
before you let go something. Like, again, it's a pattern of energy that more you work with yourself, patient,
Yes.
no judgment.
Yes.
It's a big, big thing, you know. And it's so much thing. But I realize when you know the basic stuff, and I work as a mechanic. My passion is mechanic. I love it.
Yes.
But many times I use car to a reflection for people, you know.
Yeah.
And if you drive your car not the way the car is designed, you're not going anywhere.
Yes.
If you try to go and you don't start the engine, push the gas, hit the drive, you don't go anywhere. I realize slowly with the experience I have, it's human being is like that.
Yes.
Are you using the energy in the way it's designed for us?
Even the fuel you put into the vehicle, if you put the wrong fuel into that vehicle, it's not going to perform at its optimum best.
You see, it's the same.
It's exactly this. So if we don't put good fuel into our bodies, we cannot expect it to run at its optimum. Exactly. And then we get frustrated and angry, and because we like to put the fuel in that we like to put in, but it's clearly telling us it's not working.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yes, I often use that, just that small analogy with fuel in a car. You wouldn't put crappy fuel in a car, so don't put crappy fuel in this one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a big reflection. And I see that in my work too, with customer, with those car and stuff like that. It's fascinating. But it is exactly that. You have to be careful with food and appreciate what you eat and what you have.
Yes.
And it's a big concept, but it could be fun. And I have a chance. When I was young, I was not involved with religion that we talked this morning. Like, I didn't have those blockages to stop myself to expand. And I use it in the best positive way I can, which show people. But it's very a reflection reality. And sometimes it's hard to accept that. But it's not again us.
No.
It's with you. But it's going to show you what you believe.
Yes. I remember many years ago, Ben wrote I don't know, it's a sentence, and he may jump in and say, but the words were, the universe will project back to you your heart's request, or something to that effect. It's something like, but those words then, at the time he wrote them, hit me in a massive way, that the universe is going to give you your heart's request. So when you start looking at what's showing up in your life, look at what your heart is asking for, look at what your heart believes. And like you say, they're very, very difficult things to come to terms with when life shows up in a particular way that you're not happy with, to know that you had a hand in that showing up that way. Yeah. Yeah. It's so these teachings that you offer and other people that I've had on that offer are gateways or keys to locks. I like to use that term, a key to lock to open a door and allow you to walk in and find more information and learn more about you so you can project you in a better way.
Exactly. Yeah. This is why I'm coming with the crystal skull, because they are very higher key to unlock the unknown.
I have some here.
And it's amazing. And the way they design and...
so this one you can see. This is my big one.
Yeah. And the way they're designed like that, this is what I understand. They're specifically designed like that to match the human personality. This is why we can connect with them so much. And they're coming back. It's like, you know, I have connection with Crystal Skull 10 years ago. Well, I didn't know how to talk about that. I didn't know what to say about it. It was just keep going on and off.
Yes.
And one day I went to the Bahamas, and those connections start. I start to have dream in my night dream, connection with them, talking to them, talking to me. And I write it down, everything on the paper. And this summer, not this summer, this year, we've been to Cuba with dolphin.
Oh, yes.
It happened again. Those dolphins was shooting me picture about that skull and everything I need to know before I didn't know. Like I read
Wow.
it down. This is why I choose to do a workshop, because now I got enough information. Now I'm okay to share it in a way I can understand it.
Yes.
Because when I'm doing workshop, I need to experience before. I need to know
Yes.
that when I'm gonna say it work and I see it. You see, and for me, it's important to have that experience before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fascinating, and I hope people will enjoy that new information.
Well, you can talk a little bit about that in a moment, maybe. But these crystal skulls, they, like you say, they're phenomenal. And you mentioned that they talk to you.
Yeah.
I did a workshop at Carp Wellness Center probably 8 years ago. I had no clue what I was going into. A friend invited me and I said, sure, go on, I'll go. And I had no clue. And the lady had on the floor in sacred geometry, crystal skulls. So from the bigger ones in the center, and she had a huge, huge one.
Yeah.
And the rest were all laid out in sacred geometry. And how I ended up with these was because they spoke to me. And they spoke to, first of all, in a way, not in actual words. So they're not saying, hey, Karen, I'm over here.
Yeah.
It stood out amongst, and she had hundreds of skulls on there, all similar, all the same crystal. But this particular one, the blue one, this one was yelling. It was like it was vibrating on the floor. And I asked her, I said, can I go and pick this one up? So she said, absolutely. And it was almost like my breath was taken away when I picked it up. So I started using this when I was doing light language meditations for that higher vibration.
This one
specifically. Yeah. And then the more I learned about them and understood the energy and frequency behind them, I ended up with the other three. So this snowflake obsidian, this one, I got this one, but the other two had to come with. They were connected somehow, but I never knew how they were connected. So maybe you'll be able to help me on that one. But they were just called to me. The same as when you go into a crystal shop and all of a sudden you go in with the intention of having one and walk out with something completely different. The vibration matches you. And that's what happened with these. And I started using them in the meditations.
Oh, that's fascinating. It looked like they are coming back. And
yes.
It looked like they're a very good helper when we are ready to make a step. They can support us in a fascinating way. That's very interesting. And crystal, again, when you start to ground yourself and understand the energy, you become in trouble when you go in a store. Because when you see a crystal, you fall in love with the crystal. And not a chance you get to go home without that.
Without it.
Now it's got cost money, sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is. Again, you see that pattern, different crystal having different information. And I remember, again, with my experience in Calgary, because many things kicked my butt in Calgary. It's probably the Rocky Mountain. Many people told me the city of Banff have the home of the angel Michael.
Okay.
It's his office, basically. That's the way humans call it.
Okay.
And I was all the way around that. I didn't know, but the energy there is very intense. And
I have never been there.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And one day I pick up a crystal in that city, smoke crystal, beautiful, but inside they have a drop of water. And the lady said it's unique because it's very old. The water is still like a drop. You can see it's moving.
And it moved around inside the crystal.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
And I bought it. I said, you're coming with me. After a few months, I said, I have the feeling that I have to do something with the crystal. I didn't know what to do. And it keep like, again, you ask, I'm curious about what I can do with that. How can I do something? It's coming. And one day, my wife is going to laugh when she's going to listen. We live in a townhouse, and just on the other side of the street, they have a container with garbage. And I was in the garage doing something, probably geometry.
Yeah.
I heard those ravens make a bunch of noise in the container, like bing, bang, bang. I said, what they're doing here? Like I get close to the container, and a raven, sometimes they're big, pretty like that, came 2 feet in my face and started rah, rah, rah. And like we said, that crystal talked to you like not caring, just telepathy.
Yeah.
And this is what happened with trees and nature. We're gonna get there. Start to talk to me. Said basically what they said. He said, "We know that you're going mountain bike, and that crystals come with you." And I was like, and my wife looked at me in the window talking to that raven.
Thinking, okay, Patrick's really lost his mind
Yeah.
now.
And I said, okay, that's pretty cool. But let's go, I'm open. I said, "No, I have to. And they said, we're going to be there. Make sure, okay, that's fine. Okay. If I can get in the house, they said, what she's doing. I said, I talked to the raven and they said, bring that crystal with you. Okay. Next week. I said, okay. And she said, okay, that's okay. I'm happy because she's very open.
Yes.
More and more she understands many things because she started to have those experiences.
Yes.
Yeah. It take a while for her, but she's very, very intuitive right now. And it's fascinating because man and female is different way.
Yes.
You, female, have something that we don't.
Yes.
A sixth sense, they call it.
Yes.
You know when you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love to say, no, but you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And finally, I biked to the mountain with that crystal. I found a lake, and I put the crystal in the lake. And that crystal was $2, And the raven show up, and Native Americans show up around that lake. It was a gateway, a portal. I didn't know there, but that crystal was helping me to connect. And again, I saw that structural holographic all around the mountain, stuff like that. And that connection started to remember me, past life, we can call past life, about Native American, connecting with the land, connecting with different star systems. And always coming back.
Yeah.
And it happened, the crystal skull, remember about Atlantis, all those memories coming back.
Wow.
And it's fascinating. It's fascinating. And I do believe everybody has that knowledge. It's just
I do too.
we need to pay attention sometimes.
I do too. And exactly that. I do believe we need to go from unconscious to conscious beings. Like I said, when we were coming in this morning, we're so entrained to play small, to hide, to conform, to do as you're told. Don't make waves. Don't stand out. If you have a voice, well, you're big-headed, or you're too full of yourself, or what. And I know for me, I struggled with that the majority of my life. Staying hidden, staying behind the scenes, and over the last 5 years, and particularly after the last couple of years for me, have been listening to that internal guidance and facing the fear and doing it anyway. Right now, as soon as I know I'm afraid of something, I'll go and face it, because I know it's an unrealistic fear. I'm not going to jump off a cliff, but anything that's within my realm, like the very first video we put up on here was me facing a fear of getting on a motorbike.
Yeah.
And it was an unrealistic fear. But what it boiled down to when I looked at the layers of that was trust.
Yeah.
And trust also comes into your intuition. You need to trust that you're being guided in the right direction.
Yes. And some people like you, maybe me, are sensitive, cannot deny it.
No, I can't. I've had so many signals, truths that have shown up for me within my life. There's no way I would deny it anymore.
No. And
it's part of me now.
And when you have whatever disease or challenge, sometimes it's maybe to bring you in touch with you, that you're maybe not in the good direction. That disease I have with allergy, it was to tell me to relax and look your life. It is really, really you. It is really that direction. You choose to come here. And it helped me to turn left and see beautiful things. Beautiful things.
Yeah.
And right now, when you understand, like I said, physical reality, energy, you use it in your advantage. And it helps you. It's fascinating.
It is.
Of course, we're going to have challenge because it's part of human.
Yes.
But you don't have to be affected with the challenge. And it looks like we have to watch the way we reflect.
Yes.
Or react to that. And it's very fascinating. Yeah. As a mechanic, many times I don't know what the car is. It's just I know.
Yes.
It's just part of the dance.
Yeah.
And again, when I talk about I choose the earth dream Earth, Dream, Nature, I realized with the connection I have with that, more and more I was going into it. Earth have dreams like human have.
Mm-hmm.
And those dreams happen slowly that I start to wake up in my dream. And, oh, I'm dreaming. Oh,
Yes.
and now I choose to go to left, not to right, just to follow that dream. I choose
Yes.
to go in the direction I want.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's a different connection, different expansion. And when you wake up, you realize there's no such difference between the two,
Mm-hmm.
except now I cannot punch the table because I hurt myself.
Yes.
You see, it's solid.
Yeah.
In some sense, it's not, but we believe it's solid because
Yes,
we
'cause
choose
it's
that
all energy and
experience.
frequency. Yes.
And few people basically show me that it's not, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to be careful. It's
Yes.
solid. It's solid. Don't hurt
Yes.
yourself. you
No,
see.
exactly.
But
Exactly.
more you merge those both, you can use it.
Mm-hmm.
And nature, again, with trees and plants, stuff like that, talk to me more and more and more and more. And I use that energy exchange. And they are probably my strongest teacher right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I go out and I take the time to exchange with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fascinating. It's fascinating.
I agree with you. And one of the things I do, and anybody that knows me knows, as soon as I find a big tree, I'm right up, hug the tree, thank the tree.
Yeah.
You know, connect heart to heart. And I love being in nature. And my biggest point of peace, I think, is being by water. I love being by water. It's where I feel my calmest and my most peaceful. So anybody looking for Patrick, you can find him on Facebook on the Nature of Earth's Dream. So if you want to connect with him on Facebook. But now you have a workshop coming up in July. So July the 13th is...
Yeah, the crystals called connection.
So can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I will explain how the master one was creating and why it came to Atlantis, because it's based with Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
I found some Lemurian different connection. We're going to talk about that. But basically what they're doing here and what way we can use it in our advantage to get support in the direction you want.
Mm-hmm.
And they have 13. Like we're going to set up different circle with number, hiding number that people can feel where to go to sit and feel this is my place. And they have a number hiding under relate with the 13.
Okay.
Because what they tell me just before Christmas when I was in Cuba, it's the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 13. They have a different reflection in the physical reality.
Okay, yes, I understand that.
And some people are attracted with number, you know, they said 77111 and for different frequency. And we're going to talk about that. I'll connect with them and how to tune with that if people feel the call. And it's very, again, something can open your mind a little bit. And they are what I realize sometimes if I feel that I cannot go further, I use them because I call them the key of the unknown. They help you to open that door. Mm-hmm. They really, really do.
That's good. So this workshop is where?
In Renfrew.
Okay.
Yeah, I never been there before. It's a nice lady.
Yeah.
Who gave me a place to do that workshop.
Excellent.
I think Renfrew is from, I don't know, 20 minutes from Ottawa.
Well, it's probably 20 minutes from Arnprior. So from Ottawa, it's probably 45 minutes, 50 minutes from Ottawa. So, yeah. But they can find that information on your Natures of Earth stream.
Yes, I don't have a web page right now, but Facebook is a good place to find me. If you feel the call to come and to have a different interaction or maybe heard different story about that, and we can connect with them and have many, many, many fun. Last week, I started to work with something I never did in a workshop before. We're going to have a table massage.
Okay.
Connecting with the trees and nature with crystal that people will be able to hold those things with their hand and just relax with the table and get immersed with that energy. And something will be there as many spirits are there when we do workshop.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I found 2 weeks ago. Through nature with connection. This is what happened. Every time I go in nature and trees, I dance with them. This is where those ideas come from. And I told, remember the tool I gave to you?
Yes.
I just have the answer of that tool 2 weeks ago.
Oh, fantastic. I use that tool so often. and I used it in meditation a lot. So Patrick works a lot with copper, and there was this selenite crystal that was in the shape of a wand that was wrapped in copper, and copper is a conductor of energy. And you would sit with this selenite wand wrapped in this copper, and it would be my tool to go meditate. I would connect with it with meditation. And I've had that now for a few years. And a friend of mine turned up at my house and we sat having a conversation, and all of a sudden it's like, Louise needs that wand that Patrick gave you. It's like, oh, but that's mine. I use it. So I finally gave it to Louise, and Louise told you that she now had this wand.
Yes.
Yeah.
And basically that will be connected to the trees.
Okay.
It was the tool between the trees and the human hand.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to use it finally.
Oh, fantastic. So
Yeah.
Louise is going to bring it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I very often would go in. So where I live down by the lake. And when the weather's warm enough, there's a huge rock right by the lake. And that's my spot. I go, there's a massive tree at the side of it. There's this huge rock and then the lake. And that's my spot to go and sit and meditate. I love going down there and meditating. So very often that tool would come with me. So, like I say, Louise now has it, and now it's going to get used. So that's very cool.
Yeah. I'm very happy about that. And when you talk about river and rock, I remember the first time I connect with the Rocky Mountain. I'm extremely curious, and because I'm a technician in car, I'm pinpoint every detail. This with this and this and this. This is who I am. I realize when the river is flowing around the rock in the trees, if you can emerge your heartbeat. This is what I found out. This is what I'm doing right now, and this is why it's so quick for me to get in that state.
Mm-hmm.
The minute the heartbeat starts to beat with the river, the stone, the rock, and the trees, it creates a dance with you, and you mirror that energy in your bubble. And this is where the elemental, the spirit being, are very curious when you create that state of being, and they come to see you. And now you start to have different interaction with them. Like I always say, make that commitment in that direction, and they will do the same.
Yes.
They will do the same. And by doing that, I found out that little children live in nature that we don't really see in that reality, but they are all around the world. If you tune in, you will see them. And they're the one who bring me the idea with massage table, with the different shape I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And this is, again, I love when that thing happens.
Well,
it's not something I forced to create. It's just something to flow with.
Yeah, and it brings out that passion and that excitement inside, and that inner child that just wants to go, yay, and play.
Yes, and when you receive those things, whatever people who do something in life, it's means that somebody's waiting for receive it or listen to it, and just share it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Even if there's only one person.
Yeah.
Then that connection's been made, and that's another ripple that changes everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, the one tiny stone in a pond is going to make a ripple the same as any other size stone in the pond. So, yeah. So you have another sacred geometry.
Yeah, that's another one they call the star tetrahedron, but the sphere one.
Mm-hmm.
It's all part of it. And this is exactly the copy of the Earth grid.
Okay.
The grid electric surround the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another form. You can play with that. If you spin, you see different things. Sometimes people see flower of life in it.
Yeah.
And
that's an art, spinning that.
That's a different thing again. And this is little orgonite. I think you have one.
Yes, huh? I do. It's on my table.
From time to time, I'm doing orgonite with geometry in. I will say one time of the year when the summer is coming.
Mm-hmm.
That's little tool I play. So
can you explain to people what this tool would do for them?
This one create a field, and really, really balanced field. Mm-hmm. And the design I use, it's the Metatron.
Yes.
The cube Metatron in with copper, again, 4 direction, a circle.
Mm-hmm.
Create with that Metatron, it's basically the reflection of the physical reality that we live in as geometry.
Yeah.
And I know geometry, people, it's too long to read and stuff like that. I will say put book on the side and just feel it. Exchange with it. You will understand when you need to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can find book like that.
Oh, I know. And it's like trying to watch paint dry.
Yeah.
It's a very, very difficult book to absorb. And I know I have a friend who also is phenomenal with drawing sacred geometry, and gave me a book one time to read. And I love all the patterns and the flow of energy within them, but to actually read the whole process of sacred geometry is long.
Yes. Some people just said it's too long.
It is long and tedious sometimes.
And again, we are surrounding by geometry. You know,
Yes.
you use geometry every day.
Yes.
Every single day we use those form and shape.
Yeah.
Just to allow yourself to connect with that form, and you will know what you need to know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it, when you actually look back on the journey that we have taken and those huge events that have taken place that have brought us to a greater level of understanding of who we are, why we're here, what we're here to share, whether we understand it or not. I know for me, when I very, very first started speaking light language, it was like, I remember the first 6 people that came, and my friend Leslie will vouch for me. So if people laugh, I'm leaving. But they didn't. And that has been one of the greatest gifts for me of getting out of my own way. Because I was in my own way so much of what will people think? You know, that's the biggest one. What are people going to think if they listen to this, even doing this, you know, and getting different people on and things that I'm passionate about and sharing about energy that people may have never have heard of before? Was that what will people think? And now I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that I don't care. It's this information needs to be shared, because it might be that catalyst for someone else to open up and receive.
It is, and you're right about challenge to do that. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But when you understand it's a big puzzle, you're a piece of the puzzle. If you are yourself, you
Yes.
fit in that puzzle.
Yeah.
And I remember before I started doing workshop, I asked to be, and you have to be honest with yourself, not
Yes.
anybody else, but yourself.
Yeah.
I said, I understand. I will not please everybody,
Yes.
but I will not unplease everybody.
That's right.
And I was okay with that
Yes.
because I'm not there to force anything else. If
Yeah.
people connect with that and use that, fine. If they don't, it's okay too.
It's okay too.
And you have to watch yourself, because if you judge other what they're doing, that's mean you will be judged.
That's right.
Like, you have to work with that. You have to be honest with that.
Yeah.
And find out why you cannot be that
Yeah.
person who you are.
Yeah.
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 It's a great challenge.
It is. It is a great challenge, but it's also a great gift.
Yes.
When you get to that point that you are totally comfortable with you and totally comfortable with what you share, whether someone understands it or not, brings you into the right vibration and a place of peace, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I do believe that planet will become one day that everything will be valued.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you do, it will be valued as anything else.
Yeah.
And that peace will be there.
Yeah.
We're going there, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it starts inside of us.
Yes.
You know, you have to find everything that we see reflected in the outside world is within us. So to find that peace in the outside world, you first have to find it within yourself.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can find peace in many things that I look at. You know, yesterday I went out for dinner and just observing the people in front of me, there was great peace there. Seeing somebody who's older celebrating a birthday and looking at the journey of their life, and just for me, it was very profound, you know. And so you can find peace in many things in life.
It doesn't cost anything to do that.
No,
you know?
it doesn't.
It's very simple, but I know sometimes very good to complicate stuff.
Yeah.
But again, it's part of the human, you know.
Yeah, we can complicate things. For
Oh
sure.
my God, yeah, but it's part of it. But when you start to understand and you stop 2 minutes, okay,
Yes.
if I'm doing that because this is how I feel, and you start to say it has to be different choice,
Yeah.
you open the door.
Oh, you do.
But if you don't want to do that,
Yeah.
you're stuck with your
But it's still a
feeling
choice.
of,
Even doing nothing's still a choice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
and to do nothing but to do it good,
Mhm.
it's a challenge.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
Yeah. Like basically, this is what's going on with me. That's my little story, but could be 2, 3 days to explain all the details.
Yeah.
But if you make the commitment with the energy will respond to you.
Yeah.
And in any different way. And I found out that law of attraction, it is something built in us.
Yes.
And I think you don't have to learn to do it. You just have to pay attention to what you manifest, because we're manifesting right now.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
And just pay attention to that. And because we are the great being in the planet. And one thing I want to say, I have connection with ETs.
Yes.
When I start to have those connections, you realize that somebody live out there, and talk about many hybrid.
Oh,
many
we're definitely
stuff.
not alone.
No, but I will say for the last few months, I turned myself back to the earth. For me, this is my personal thing, I must know more my planet before I'm gonna go see outside of it.
Yes.
Because that planet, we don't know that planet.
No.
It's such amazing.
Oh, I agree with you, and I know this is one thing that makes me incredibly sad on one level when I see how the earth is treated. But that's then also a reflection on how we treat each other.
It is, and she let you do that sometimes until you learn. See?
But she also fights back. You know, Mother Earth has a temper, you know, and she will clean house when she wants to. And when she does, it is not pretty.
Nothing you can do.
Nope. You just have to step out of the way.
Yeah.
You know, she's coming through and she's cleaning house. But for me, the Mother Earth it's a massive connection. I get tremendous joy just sitting on my back deck watching squirrels, and
it's beautiful. It's such a gift to be here.
Oh, Patrick, absolutely.
This is why, I need to know more about her.
Because she has many, many gifts still to share. You know, she has everything available for us to heal on a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level.
Yeah.
All we have to do is look.
It is. And if you look, you will see beautiful things.
You will definitely find it.
And again, it starts when I start to connect with those children in nature.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain what I understand when they said that. Oh, I need to tell you that. That was fascinating. They're part of the magnetic field of the earth.
Okay.
They call light beam children. But they're not spirit, they're not dead. They're just between that. And they're reflecting a child of earth. And the first time I was playing with that geometry form in the forest to see what I can do. And this is where they show up.
Yes.
And I said, wow, I use that kind of, it's not that form, but it's something like that, like a light. This is a light for me to see them.
Okay.
And they said, yeah, you got it, you know. But something happened. Did you see the movie Doctor Strange? Did you ever see?
Yes, I did. I love that movie.
When you see the woman and the man have a circle around his hand with geometry.
Yes.
But someone in the group of child show up to me with that hand, and he want me to put my hand to his hand.
Yeah.
It was fascinating. It was like maybe 5 minutes like that.
Yeah. I love that movie. There's so many truths in that movie.
And yeah, and it was like, my God, this is exactly like the movie.
Yeah.
And I start to see those things, you know, you talk about light language. I started those little triangle around my hand and doing stuff, and it was pretty cool. But one thing I know, and maybe it's good for other people to know, those spirits, whatever, angel, guide, they're busy. They're not waiting for you to show up and, hey, let's go. You sit down waiting for me. No. They have a life, you know. And sometimes those children will show up, we play together, and they just left.
Yes.
And it's the way it is. They don't wait for you.
No.
Like they want you to do the same.
Yes.
Don't wait for them. Just explore
just do it.
and be the child and enjoy life the max you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Connecting with that inner child is a gift. Mine's always been too close to the surface, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a lot of fun, and I enjoy doing those connections, you know, and certainly sitting in the middle of a field all by myself, or going and hugging a massive tree, or just talking and connecting to the lake and different things, like things that I do when I'm by myself. Yeah.
And I think it's good to be by yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
You know a little bit more what you like, what you do. It's good.
Yeah, to ask, and we don't often do that, you know, to like say, to journey within and to ask questions inside of yourself to know your truth.
Yeah.
And one thing I can remember receiving many years ago when I was doing a meditation is don't hold on to your truth too tightly, for tomorrow it will change.
So true.
And the only consistent in life is change. It's constantly flowing and evolving, and labels we give ourselves, that's to hold you in place. That's to keep you small and hold you in place. If you can allow yourself to just flow with our experiences. Yeah.
No expectation.
No expectations. Yeah.
Oh, it is expectation. It's the big place you stop yourself. Create resistance. And pain starts to happen.
Yeah.
Because you expect them.
Yeah.
And they have so much you can see if you let it go, those expectations.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you're going in nature, and you are wanting to connect and have that experience, is there I'm going to use the word ritual, but that's not the right word. Is there a continuous thing that you do? Is the same thing every time? Is it something different based on where you are to make that connection? And how do you make that connection for anybody that wants to try?
Yeah, for me, I learned it's like I must, for me,
Yes.
and I think it worked pretty good, my heartbeat.
Okay.
Because many times people don't realize the heart is beating.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found out is every heartbeat sends a magnetic field to the grid.
Yes, it does.
Like we affect everybody.
Yes.
Like you really affect everybody.
Yeah.
Like you feel good, you affect everybody in that way.
Yeah.
And I have to relax and feel it.
Yes.
And when I feel it, I understand it's coming.
Yeah.
But don't think too much. Don't think at all. It will just start to happen.
So allow it to form in your mind's eye, in your third eye, allow images or questions.
It just happened like telepathy.
Yes.
Yeah. The trees will not open its mouth and
No.
start to talk. It's just an exchange of flow that we understand that language.
Yes.
And many times I saw it, we are a reflection of nature. Like
Yes.
we're not connect to it.
Mm-hmm.
We are good to play that game.
Yes.
Like when you just allow yourself to relax. And many things I'm learning about the brain wave and stuff like that. And because what I know a few years ago, I understand many Wi-Fi's going around the planet, microwave. But they have a way, apparently, that we can set up those frequencies matching the Earth frequency.
Okay.
Many people talk about the Schumann resonance,
Mm-hmm.
7.83.
Yeah.
If you allow those Wi-Fi to go with that wave, it will not affect anybody like a negative way.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people have effects, some people don't.
Yes.
And this is what I'm learning right now. But what I'm learning with all the tools I'm designing to do that, it starts with me.
Yes.
And when I do that, it's happening that my brain starts to have the same pattern. And if you know that, this is what we're going maybe to a different direction.
No, that's goes where it goes.
You see on the web many times the Schumann resonance going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel it. You really feel it. Sometimes
Yes.
you're nervous. And what's happening? People are very nervous.
Agitated.
And you see an email 2 days later, it was peak.
Yes.
And I said, I think it's possible. And when I sat down and really asked those questions to the teacher, trees, what's going on?
Yes.
Why that thing happened? It's basically that Schumann resonance. It's a natural state of Earth. It is the way Earth balances itself. It's always coming back to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the human being affect the field.
Yes.
It's not the Earth who's going crazy and said, you're going to get beat out. No, it's us because something's going on around the world and we affect that field.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you understand to feel, get back to that state with
Yes.
your heartbeat, you will become kind of invisible to the other round.
Yes.
And it's tuning back to you. It's fascinating.
It is fascinating. I know connecting to the heartbeat is massive, even for meditation and different things like that. And we don't pay attention to our heart.
I will say just to take 2 minutes maybe by day, because some people, I forgot about that. I forgot why I forgot about that. It has to become just something natural.
Yeah.
Okay. It's beating your heart all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just pay attention to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know for me, just recently, well, within the last 2 years, I've had stuff come up with my heart. So I had an irregular heartbeat. My heart was beating too fast and different things were going on with my heart. And when I went to look at the energy behind that, because for me, the very first thing I'm going to look at is, okay, what can I change? What do I need to be made aware of? and what do I need to look at? And when I went to look at that, the energy behind the way my heart was beating was because a situation had become so intolerable that my heart couldn't stand it anymore. And the only way to get my attention was through my heart. My heart was, because it was emotional stuff, my heart was beating and going crazy and having all sorts of issues show up. Well, that's been on and off for the last 2 years, that different things have come up. And working through your heart frequency and honoring and recognizing what your truth is, and honoring and recognizing how you want your life to show up, has been my journey, you know, and deleting things in my life and changing things. But working through the heart has been the last 2 years for me.
Yeah.
And that has given me deeper answers and knowings within myself, and a truth within myself that brings me to a state of peace, right? And I don't know how else to explain that with all the crazy that's gone on in the last couple of years, but it's brought me to a greater sense of peace within myself and a deeper understanding of who I am, had that not happened. So the body shows you signals all the time to go into, but the heart is definitely the gateway.
Yeah, and if you listen to that, because I was looking for that, probably under 1%, nobody have heart cancer.
No, they don't.
It's not allowed by nature.
No.
See, it's very unique. That I called it a device, but that device is unique.
Yes.
And we all talk about the third eye, but finally, spirit send information to the right, the heart first, and send it to the brain.
Yes.
This is where black and white start here, because they have polarity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, more you work, be in peace with the brain, when
Yeah.
you can be quiet, you can feel what the heart says.
Yeah. Well, the heart receives more information than the brain does, like you say, and the heart transmits to the brain categorizes and
Yeah.
does what the brain does and judges or whatever, and then sends the frequency back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you try too much forcing the brain to the heart, it creates resistance,
Yes.
because we're designed to have the heart express to the heart, not the brain tell the heart to do,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
the heart to tell, listen to me.
Yeah.
I'm here with you.
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm not against you.
I'm not against
But
you.
it
Yeah.
could be challenged sometimes, because those things coming up, like you said, when you be honest, whatever happened,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. But sometimes, to be honest, it take a while.
Yeah.
And take the time to do it. And
Yes, because sometimes the truth may show up, but there's something underneath that and something underneath that, and eventually you'll get to what the core truth is.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we learn a lot about us when you do that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But going and wrapping your arms around a tree for me works.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
people love to be in nature. It's part of when you're young. Just
Mhm.
you're in nature, you don't really ask for. But
No, and we don't get to do that. Or certainly people who live in the city. I know last summer, I had some friends visit who live in the city, and they thought I lived in the back and beyonds of nowhere. Like, why would she live this far? Oh my gosh, it's too far. But when they got to where I live, it's like, oh, now I know why you live here, you know, because they live surrounded by high-rise apartments. It's they don't have that connection with Mother Earth anymore.
it's a different thing.
Because when you have concrete, you know, and plastic shoes, you're not connecting to the earth in the same way as when you, at one time we only had leather shoes, you know, and you connect through the earth, you know, and you still had that connection.
Yeah.
The same as the whole thing they're talking about a few years ago of earthing, you know, and really connecting back to the earth and the frequency of the earth. And when you lay on the earth, she will bring your balance back to the right
Oh,
balance.
Yeah. You can use that energy in your advantage.
Yes.
Big time.
Yeah.
It's free. It's always there.
Yeah. Just have to find a way for the bugs not to bite. Because that, I tell you,
They're very intense.
yeah, right now I have mosquitoes that could pick you up and carry you off around where I live. They're huge.
It's
So laying on the
intense.
grass isn't necessarily the best place unless you want to come out bumpy.
And yeah, right now they're looking for you, man.
Oh, yes, they are. I can't wait for the dragonflies to come out and start eating them.
Yeah. Wow. And yeah, basically it's that. It's pretty much to do the commitment to exchange with nature. And see what nature responds to you. And you know, many people talk about they have so much information right now in media and stuff. You can get lost. What is right? What is wrong? You know, people talk about disclosure. This is this. This is this. I will say, go in nature.
Yes.
Have 5-10 minutes. Take a 30 days off of media.
Yes.
And find yourself there and see what is coming back for you. And make a choice. You know, use whatever outside to make a choice. This is what I want. This is what I want.
Yeah.
And you will find your way.
Certainly going back to nature is definitely the key. I know for Ben, he's a landscape gardener, so he's in nature all day, every day. And I know he's a very, very grounded person, but he gets a tremendous amount of pleasure out of making it beautiful, you know, so that when he walks away from that, it's that, you know, this feels good. This feels good. And I don't know that he could ever not be connected to nature.
Probably one of their passion.
Yeah.
That's another thing, you know, passion. It tells you what you're doing here.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're passionate about it. But there's so many people that I talk to, they don't know what their passion is anymore.
It's hard for many people, but I think they ask too much.
Yes.
And sometimes everybody's unique, but we try to do what others doing.
Yes.
Something has nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're trying to fit somebody else's passion or do it somebody else's way and not necessarily connecting with their own or even asking the right question.
Yeah, exactly. We need to start to ask the right question, to have the right question, the answer, right answer. But, you know, if you go, many people, you're right, so many people, it's right what I'm doing here. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do. You have to start slowly.
Yes.
What you feel to do today, just big little step. It will make a big thing and you will start to understand what you prefer.
Yeah. And not everybody's passion is doing energy work or
Not
connecting with nature. It can be accounting. It can be organizing closets and putting things in color coded. You know, I often wonder, you know, do we have this judgment within ourselves that we all want to do that grand gesture for when we leave? But every tiny thing we do, whether it's organizing closets and that's your passion, or doing accounting because somebody has to be passionate about that, because I know I'm not, you know, that every single thing that we do within that passion brings the frequency and creates the pattern in which we live in that reflects life back to us in a positive way.
It is so true, Karen. And when you do that, you understand what you need. It's already here.
Yes.
The ego wants that. But this is not what you need.
Yes.
You have what you need. You see?
Yes.
It becomes very simple. You understand that.
Yeah.
It's already there.
Absolutely. So before we wind up, Patrick, is there anything else that you would really like to share? Any message that you would like to get out to anybody about your workshop or something that you're passionate about that has been a gift to you?
If you feel the call for the crystal sculpt, you don't have to. If you feel the call, just come with us for the day. And it will be fun. And I'm always open in my workshop to see others' gifts.
Yes.
I want people to come and share their point of view. Have mine. And if it can help, I'm very happy. But different point of view is very important.
Absolutely. Because like you mentioned right at the very beginning, everybody has a different vantage point.
And it creates me more passion when I see people sharing those things.
Yes.
You know? And we learn about that because I don't know anything. Everything. People help me to understand more about me, and I can do the same.
Yeah.
Go on Facebook and watch my face, Nature Herb Green.
Yeah.
Or my name, Patrick Godin. And if I can help in any direction, like I said, when the healer healed my disease, allergy. It was not a disease, allergic.
Yeah.
I learned a way to release any allergy in 20 minutes. We do that, me and my wife. And
wow.
I have a children came to this life with every single allergy possible, probably to teach me to do something.
Yes.
And we find it very easy. Sometimes it could be do a distance.
Yeah.
Again, it will depend of the person. If the person believes it will work, it will work.
Yeah.
But in 20 minutes, we can do amazing things.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway, take your time to have fun.
Yes.
And if you don't have fun, find why you don't. And nothing's stopping you except yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
And they have so much beauty in that planet.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. And everybody is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The planet blows me away on a daily basis when I see a sunset. And when I 2 weekends ago drove through Algonquin Park, and it's just breathtaking. It really is breathtaking.
Maybe one thing before. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead, Patrick.
It might be very important for many people because some people are working, whatever work you do. Instead, I don't fit there. I want to do meditation. I want to do workshop. It could be a challenge because I've been to that. You know, I don't want to be a mechanic anymore. But I love it. No. I'm spiritual, and workshop is more important. And for a while, my connection started to slow down until I bring myself back. I love my work, and I am involved with people. No matter what kind of people, spirituality, open, not open, whatever, more I open to myself, more balance I found, and more everything opened up again.
Yes.
We choose to be here,
yes,
to have that experience, no matter what. If your work is perfect, if you like it, keep doing it.
Yeah.
This is very important. You need to find a balance.
Yes.
Because I know it's hard because you want to express that at work. Some people are not there.
No.
But again, that's a big challenge for us to respect that they're not there.
Yes.
And maybe one day they will, and maybe not.
Yes. Yeah.
And sometimes it could be super tough, but you have your place, and you deserve to be here like everybody else.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I
think that's very important.
completely agree with that.
And it's nothing wrong to do in the morning to go work.
No.
Because everybody's the same soup. We all want soup here.
Yeah.
And if we learn to work together, it will be amazing.
Yes, absolutely. I completely and utterly agree with you.
All right. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you, Patrick. It has been a pleasure listening to your journey, and I'm very excited. I'm going to be there at your Crystal Skull Connection workshop on July the 13th in Renfrew. So anybody that's looking for information from Patrick, please connect with him on his Facebook page, which is The Nature of Earth's Dream. You will find him there. You can ask him questions, and certainly post your questions underneath this video. And please share as much as you can. Connect on YouTube and share. And let's get this information out there. Let's connect in a different kind of way. And while the sun is shining like it is right now, take 5 minutes just to take your shoes off. Connect your feet to the earth. Breathe from your heart. Be grateful for everything that you have in your life. Feel the blessings around you and expand that throughout the day. I want to thank Ben for Vocal House Studio for being here for us today. I wish you the best of everything, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.
Thank you.